All right, we're live on Gun Channels. It's the capital HVS from the GCG with the GCPP. That's the Gun Channels gang, Gun Channels Prepper Posse. And guess what? I forgot to turn off yet again.
The external.
Right. Every week I make the same mistake. Well, not every week. I think I actually got it right like once.
Those were the glory days.
Yeah, so we have some incredible people, panelists here from the prepping world and gun channels and all of the above. From the great state of somewhere near the Great Lakes, Michigan, you've got both Dusty One and his incredible reloading former beer brewing and granary storage show. And we've got from the U.S. Marines, the badasses, the badassery mothers from Michigan, Squib Load, and from somewhere from you've got the good, bad, and the oily. From Oklahoma, or no, wait, the good, bad, and the oily, the oily okie, the good, the bad, and the oily okie.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, and so the topic for we got some current events we'll get to, and also the topic for tonight is what's the best shit hit the fan ammo? Is 7.62x39 better or 5.56 223? And so you've got quite a few disadvantages of there's some advantages and disadvantages, including cost, weight to carry around, weight of the projectile versus each other, the speed. The 5.56 is definitely a faster round and lighter weight because the bullet drops with gravity at the same rate as if you just drop it from just where you're standing. It'll drop the same speed as if you shoot it. It just travels far. Let's see, availability, affordability, and the rifles that are used with the availability of spare parts, and that will change over time. Obviously the 7.62x39, I don't think it's used by any military anymore, but it's a very popular round because the AK-47, which is not used by the military of anybody anymore, is at least any of the major powers, is still the most dominant, popular, prolific rifle on the planet. And a lot of people on gun channels, including me, like them. Obviously, the AR being the dominant American civilian platform and military. You have better interchangeability of parts for your weapon, accessories, and so it's a personal choice. The weight matters, I think, as far as carrying it around. Price matters because stuff isn't free. If you're in the military, you don't have to pay for it, but when you're shooting it. But if you're a civilian like me, it's not free, so you gotta. It costs to stack it. But I definitely have stacked. I'm getting near 10,000 rounds of 7.62x39, and more like 2,500 rounds of 5.56 in various kinds. And you got ballistics, terminal ballistics. Obviously, the 5.56 has better ballistics than a larger 7.62, which is like a midweight bullet and a projectile. And, when I got my CZ, it was a compromise. I really wanted a Lapua rifle, but I didn't have $9,000 ready to go for that IWI one that I don't know if it's released yet, but I know it's on their website. Unless you have a 50 BMG rifle or something that you're going to carry around, which would be a heavy rifle to carry around. I don't reload. Another factor is are the casings reloadable? Now I do have some Lethal Fusion, which has 7.62x39 brass casings, but it's pretty damn expensive out here in the islands. And there was one round that I couldn't seat that I got from them. Out of all the boxes, I've only had one bad round that the casing just bulged out, and it would seat into the into the chamber. So I just dropped that one back off at the store that I bought it from and said, "This ammo casing wouldn't seat." They gave me a discount on the next box or something, and the gun safe. About today, my particular news is yesterday I cleaned my hydration bladder, Camelback hydration bladder, 3-liter, 100-ounce bladder, and it's been hanging, and the tube, and it's been hanging over my sink from the hanger. Buy the cleaning kit, you can get some. They give you some. I think they're just chlorine tablets that you put in some water and you soak it. You get first you put in just some just dishwashing soap and some hot water. Fill it up, empty it out. Fill it up, empty it out a couple times. Then you put in some more water and the chlorine tablet. Let it sit there for 5 minutes and to kill any bacteria. And then empty it out. And just hang it dry. They give you a little hook that kind of where the connector sits in, so you can just hang it over your sink pretty easy. And they give you a brush to clean the bladder and another brush that fits down the hydration tube. So you have to do that every once in a while so you don't get strange bacteria growing in your water supply bladder. And I bought a tack vault from I think gunsafe.com at the local shop. I had ordered it about 6 months ago, and I got a really good workout. It's about 80 pounds, and I got a borrowed hand truck from the condo association and kind of hauled it up I'm gonna live on the top floor. It's a bunch of stairs, and got a good workout. Then I had to maneuver it up another set of stairs inside my condo to the top floor without the hand truck. So, but like I said, it was only 80 pounds, but it's kind of bulky, so you have to be careful not to lift with your knees and not your back. But as far as the ammo goes, it's really hard to knock, either one, except to say that, if at some point, I don't know, do you think it's not a problem now getting 7.62x39 for a decent rate? At least on the mainland, it's not. Here it has dried up in the past, but there's plenty of it now. But you think at some point in the future, it might, if a president gets elected that doesn't want to trade with Russia or wants to put on more sanctions, that it could be hard to get. I mean, there's other countries that make it, but if a non-Republican president, gains office, God forbid, do you think it could become unobtainium at some point in the future? Especially since it's
last time we had a big panic on ammo. 22 long rifle wasn't the only thing that dried up and disappeared. 7.62x39, at least for me, was available, but not as often as 223 Remington or 5.56 NATO. I would say that you're probably always going to be able to get 223 or 5.56, and it's probably always going to be cheaper. But I don't know as far as it not being available at all. I think that because it's a little bit more pricey, that sort of thing, and you've just got everybody makes 223, so. I always think the 223 5.56 is always going to be more available
in the States. Yeah, so the Soviet have switched to a different round from they switched to the AK-74 round now, which is like
it's a 5.45 by something.
45, 5.45 by 45, I think.
I think so too. Yeah.
And basically, that was their response to when in Vietnam the U.S. came out with 223, and basically the 5.56 223 is basically designed to tumble. The round is designed to tumble and thereby cause large wound canals in the enemy soldiers. So if you want that effect, you can't really you can't. Yeah, green tips don't do that. The light armor piercing won't tumble as much as like just the regular 193 version of the 5.56 round that's commonly out there. But a lot of people like the green tips. I bought a ton of that when they tried to ban it under the previous administration. Dusty, I know you in the pre-chat you said you only reload 5.56, but you've got tons of it. The bad news is he only has 5.56. The good news is he has tons of it. See if his mic is working. Waiting on Dusty.
Jared Walsh in the YouTube chat says 5.45 times 30 by 39.
By 39? Okay. Yeah, I don't have a 74. Dusty, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't either. I've never handled one.
I didn't even catch the question. My internet has been acting up here for some reason.
It must be the Russians.
I've got a major lag.
Okay, the question was, I was saying that the bad news is that Dusty doesn't like 7.62 by 39 because he doesn't have any dies to reload it. But the good news, he has 5.56 and he has tons of it. So tell us about reloading 5.56.
Know about it. It's basically the same as reloading any other shell.
Yeah, it's not hard to reload. I've got dies for the 7.62 by 39, but I haven't used them yet.
Why's that?
The only, I guess, really the only challenge is to know what casings you have. If you have military casings, those are swedged in, and you have to make a pressed-in primer fit in them.
Okay, so tell everybody
really
what swedging is.
Basically, you're forming a pocket in that casing to press primer in. I have a swedger from Dillon that I use to do it. Basically, you put the casing in there. It will make that fit. You're actually pressing the brass back out so that your press-in primer will fit.
Okay. And so is it easy to find casings for how much does like 1,000 new casings cost or used, around where you're at in Michigan?
To be honest with you, I don't.
Yeah.
For so long.
I'm not sure. I can't remember what I paid. There's 100 brand new Hornady cases in 7.62 by 39. I haven't even opened it. I've got enough empty used brass from the range that I haven't even messed with the new stuff.
You have brass.
I paid for that.
You have brass casings from the range for 7.62. Because most of it's
I pick up all my brass that I can.
Oh yeah. Well, I have mostly steel casings.
That's something I was in a text chat with somebody, and they were talking about 7.62x54 rimmed, which is the round for the Mosin Nagant and the Dragunov rifle and things like that. And they were talking, and they were saying in this chat that they were using steel case, and I said I only use brass, and you used brass because we were talking about the price, and I was saying how much more expensive it was, and he just couldn't believe that I was using brass. Well, one, I reload, and two, brass for me seems to cycle better than anything. And I guess I'm a bit of an ammo snob. I mean, I've used steel, but I've had more bad results with steel ammunition in different calibers, and I just soon get brass, pay a little bit more, and have the option to reload and have it be a little bit more reliable, that sort of thing. But you can get ammo with brass cases in 7.62x39 all day long if you want. You don't have to buy wool.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with any of my steel casings in my AK. I've never had a problem seating anything. The only problem I ever had was that when I did my Camelback review, one of my brass cased Lethal Fusion Skiv bullet hunting rounds didn't seat because the casing was bulged in my bolt action CZ. But never had a problem with the AK or steel ammo. And the CZ is designed to shoot either, but I've only been shooting the brass in it. But I understand that although I'm not into reloading, I understand you cannot reload steel casings for some reason. Why is that?
Correct.
Why is that?
The steel won't move around like the brass. Well, the brass is more malleable. You can reform it. The steel, you're just not going to reform.
Yeah, unless you
Also,
melt
the way your dye's bad.
All right.
All right, Rupan says on the Gun Channel's chat, I was in the process of building a 5.56 by 45mm AK-74 when my AG unilaterally banned all assault weapon copies. Now I have a serialized receiver and a parts kit in a box, LOL. And then he said, my local FFL said that I can sell the receiver to another state to try to get my money back. I don't want to let it go. I haven't had any reliability with problem steel. I have noticed that some of them were less consistent than the brass ammo when grouping.
Well, the only thing as far as 7.62 versus 5.56 is obviously 7.62 is heavier, so it has more bullet drop, and it's slower. It's slower than the 5.56, which is I mean, some of my ammo is like 3,200 feet per second for the 5.56 rounds. Zombie Max, but let's see. Anybody else has any other comments out there?
Yeah, when I do my first batch of reloads on the 7.62x39, it will be with Zombie Max bullets. I've got a box of 500 from Hornady, so I just haven't got around to reloading that caliber.
So will you wait till you have time to sit around and do like a gigantic load of them? Or you set it up with your guys?
I take the AK to the range every time. I mean, it's just, I guess if I took the AK out more often, maybe I'd be more inclined to reload for it. But yeah, it's just the limited amount of time I have to dedicate to reloading. I'm going to reload whatever I think we're going to use next time at the range or whatever I'm testing out.
So obviously when you're in the Marines, you use 5.56 and you were a machine gunner, right? So for shit hits the fan, which would you use? Your AK or your AR? You've got to be more familiar with your AR, I would think.
I'm a lot more familiar with the AR. That's why I should probably take the AK to the range more to get more familiar with it. In a shit hit the fan situation, I'm going to use my M1 Garand.
Really? Okay.
So there you go.
None of the above. None of the above.
Okay.
The
Whatever
AK,
I have available.
Yeah.
Any ammo is better than no ammo. That's for sure.
Indeed.
The AK is supposed to be more reliable, and I haven't tried dumping dirt into my action to see if it jams it. But you know, from everything I've read for forever, the AK is supposed to be more reliable as far as function and whatnot. And I can tell you my experiences with the M16 is very susceptible to jamming, but it's a precision platform, and there's so many different changes you can make to it, you know, to customize it to what you want. Plus, you were talking earlier, you know, parts interchangeable, parts availability, things like that. I mean, it's prolific. I can't even say that word right, but I mean, it's all over the place. So prolific. Thank you. It's prolific. So, and I'm not saying, I mean, the AK is the most produced rifle in the world, but
yeah, this is America. This is
probably right. So, but that's not to knock the AK in a bug out situation. I just have never tested mine personally, tried to abuse it just to see what it could take. So,
TIA.
I just go to the M1 Garand.
This is America. TIA. Okay.
Scotty M 1959 on the YouTube external says, I heard rumor that the 7.62x39 was getting phased out in Russia and China for their AKs and rifles.
Well, I mean, they've all switched over to the 74, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I thought everybody had switched over to 74, but they may still have AK-47s in their reserves or something. Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
They've sold them all out, I think. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty lying around somewhere in a warehouse doing nothing, but there's plenty out there. In sub-Saharan Africa, you could purchase an AK, a full auto AK, in exchange for one live fatty chicken to eat in good condition, because food is less plentiful and available than AKs, you know. But we don't live in sub-Saharan Africa, you know. I don't think I have any viewers in sub-Saharan Africa. Maybe I do, but I don't know.
Well, getting back to the still ammo, I don't want to knock anybody who uses still ammo. If that's what you can afford, or it works fine for you, you don't reload and you don't care, or you're at a range where they won't let you pick up your brass, which I've heard people talk about that. That's a load of crap, but whatever. I mean, that's your range rules. Those are your range rules.
What do you think about?
By all means, use steel case, I guess.
What do you think about the, you know, weight of, you know, the ammo being important, because you have to carry it around with you all day if you're walking around, you know, or just patrolling,
well,
you know?
I hear that argument on gun channels all the time, and I hear a lot of people complain about the weight of the firearm, the weight of the ammo, and that sort of thing. You know, they can carry more ammo than, you know, or the lighter they make the gun, the more weight that, you know, they can save for carrying ammo and that sort of thing. And I think everybody's different. You know, I mean, you walk long enough with enough weight on you, ammo, food, water, whatever it is, it's going to weigh you down. It's going to tire you out. I'm the kind of person that I load it out. I distribute the weight properly when I carry it. I load out and then I just suck it up. But I prefer a heavier firearm. I prefer heavier ammunition. And I don't care about the weight if it's something I'm comfortable shooting, or something that I know that, you know, I can get good accuracy with it, and it's going to stop whatever I'm trying to stop with it.
And so you got used to that?
For me personally, I don't care.
But you got used to that because you were a squad automatic weapons. That was your specialty, right?
No. Actually, I'm an aviation ordnanceman. I hang bombs on planes.
Oh,
but our squadron
okay.
was assigned two. Yeah, our squadron was assigned two M60 machine guns, and in Marine combat training, my M16 was broken, so they issued me an M60, and I fell in love with it. So when I got out to the fleet and I got to the squadron, I asked to be assigned one of the two M60s for our squadron. My job required me to be up on the front lines of what they call a FARP, a forward arming and refueling point. That's where you keep all the ammo and all the fuel, so the helicopters don't have to fly all the way back to the base to be able to support the troops up on the front line. So you got to be able to defend a FARP. So having that machine gun there was a valuable asset. Most guys didn't want to carry it; it's just too heavy.
Yeah, people.
I didn't care about the weight. I like the firepower.
People called it the pig.
Yeah. Yep.
And why was that? Why do they call it the pig?
I really don't know. I never asked. I mean,
Okay.
I never asked. I know I liked mine. It was heavy and that sort of thing, but I thought it was more reliable than the M16. And I mean, I prefer semi-automatic fire though. That's the irony. I had a full auto weapon that had no select fire at all, and I prefer semi-automatic fire. So go figure.
So they gave you an M60 and you wanted to get married to your M60. Okay. Is that Dusty there making noise with his mic? All right.
Yep.
Or it may be me. I'm changing out light bulbs on a reptile cage. Can't have my desert lizards freeze. For some reason or other, all their night lamps burned out.
You have desert lizards in a cage? Are there desert lizards in Michigan? I didn't even know there was...
mine are from Africa.
What are they doing in Michigan? Never mind.
They're passed out.
They're passed out. Okay. But I'm the one drinking Jack and Daniels, and your lizard's passed out. I don't know how that happened.
My lizards are passed out. I come walking downstairs and I see that the night lights are burned out. That's all messed up.
Okay, so your lizards got cold or something. They need a certain amount of heat.
Yes, that makes them go into hibernation. Yes.
All right. So it wasn't the Jack Daniels. All right.
No.
All right. So let's see. Let me do the screen share of that.
Scotty, 1959 says, perfect example, fill a 4-ounce glass with water, hold it straight out in front of you. 100 rounds of 55 grain and 77 grain isn't going to change too much.
Wait a minute. Can you say that one more time?
Perfect example, fill a 4-ounce glass with water, hold it straight out in front of you. 100 rounds of 55 grain and 77 grain isn't going to change too much.
Yeah. Well, what times like 10,000 rounds? Yeah.
What he's talking about, 77 grain would be the heaviest 5.56 round that I know of. 55 grain is pretty standard, 55 to 62. You can actually get lighter, but yeah, for all intents and purposes, if you've got 100 rounds of 40 grain, 100 rounds of 62 grains, or 100 rounds of 55 and 100 rounds of 77, it's not going to make that big of a deal. Just certain people just, their aversion is to carrying a lot of weight. You also got to understand, you can always drop this stuff along the way if it starts to get too heavy for you or that sort of thing. I know, HVS, you were talking about once about being able to outrun a gang with carrying all of your gear. That's never going to happen. So better to have more ammo and fight them off.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't know how many gangs I could I don't know if I could outrun the kindergarten class, but I'm starting to get old. I'm just surprised.
More energy than you do, Hawaii.
Yeah, I mean, just going to the pool area and watching the children run around, it pisses me off. I've been screaming and yelling. I just like peace and quiet. But I just spent the last hour struggling to get my new gun safe up the stairs. So yeah, I'm not going to be doing any sprinting contest anytime soon with against gangs. I'll have to stand my ground and fight. I wanted to do that screen share. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. So me and Squib definitely like talking Navy sometimes, so I wanted to just bring this up. China has got a new aircraft carrier. They're almost ready to deploy it. Basically says, this particular article says, Chinese first domestically built aircraft carrier will soon launch in Dalian, I'm going to mispronounce this Chinese name, Liaoning province for drills and trial voyages, putting to the test proprietary technology meant to further Beijing's expansion to the South and East China Seas. South China, some kind of newspaper reported. A dock on the Dalian shipyard was being filled with water Sunday in preparation for the launch. The Chinese-made vessel is expected to enter service around 2020, joining China's first and only aircraft carrier, a refurbished Ukrainian vessel known as the Liaoning. I'm sure I just butchered the name. But basically that was when the USSR broke up, China bought their current aircraft carrier from Ukraine, and they have updated it, quite a bit, but it's basically, it was ready to be, it was scheduled to be scrapped for scrap metal, but then China bought it from Ukraine after the USSR broke up. The new one is conventional powered. It says the new ship, like its predecessor, conventionally propelled as opposed to nuclear powered, and featured a sloped flight deck known as a ski jump for the aircraft to take off. It's somewhat smaller than the current one, with a displacement of around 50,000 tons compared to around 67,000 tons of the current one. From the successful refitting of the Liaoning in 2011 and the commission a year later, China spent just 5 years to produce what's going to be called the 001A type of carrier. Around 200 visitors gathered in, I don't know how to pronounce these Chinese cities' names, Dalian Sunday, expecting a launch ceremony to coincide with the 68th anniversary of the Chinese Navy's founding. Scaffolding around the ship, temporarily named the Type 001A, was removed and the deck was cleared. Shanghai-based news portal thepaper.cn reported, suggesting that the launch date was getting close. However, experts said the tidal conditions yesterday were not conducive to launch to mark the Navy's birthday, and expected a ceremony to take place in the next few days. So they will actually have their own carrier for first.
Wow.
So times are changing.
Okay, Rupan in the gun channels external says, I was a saw gunner. Every time I picked up an M4, it felt like a feather. Depending on what's going on, I prefer lightweight with nothing on my rifle. I don't even like the double mags. I do agree with Squib that you should use whatever you're comfortable with. If I was at home, I'd rather use my 30-06 if someone is at the end of the street. And then Squib says the saw weighed more than an M4, but if it did bother you, then that is all that matters. Someone had to hump it, right?
Yeah.
And then on the...
And that's just it. The SAW, let me explain what that is for the listeners who don't know. SAW stands for Squad Automatic Weapon. So what that is, it's like a light machine gun that fires the same intermediate cartridge as the rifles. So the M60 fired the 7.62x51, the big, heavy rifle round, whereas the M16 fires the 5.56x45mm, which is an intermediate cartridge. The SAW used that same cartridge. The early SAWs used to use a box with 200 rounds in it, but it had a port on the side where you could actually insert an M16 magazine. So in an emergency situation, you could use the mags from an M16 to feed the SAW. But the cyclic rate is so high on those weapons that you'd burn through a 30-round mag like nothing. So later they took that off the SAWs when they as they evolved, and they said it's a useless feature. We'll never use it. That sort of thing. So a squad automatic weapon gunner is going to use the same kind of ammunition as a rifleman, not necessarily the same ammunition as a machine gun. So that's where you have different levels.
So the thing, I think the thing,
automatic weapon, the SAW that we use, the M249, has a faster cyclic rate than the M60 or the M60's replacement, the M240. So.
Right. The thing that I think is really the changing factor compared to military versus like civilians is that, if the shit hits the fan, and whether you have to patrol or bug out, and you have to just carry all your stuff with you to somewhere where it's safe, because for some reason some catastrophe has happened, and you just can't stay, you can't bug in, and if you have to bug out, then weight will really matter more than it would if you were just staying at your house and you had all the ammo in the world that you needed and you had your reloading dies and everything else. But if you had to just pack up, throw everything in the car or just run for your life and take your family with you, then weight might matter a bit more. And the thing that
Well, then,
basically the point, if I could just finish this point, the point is that is when you're making your decision, on what your shit hits the fan, ammunition will be. The point that makes it a hard decision is that, most people can't even conceive of the shit hitting the fan. Somebody did a chat saying it will, or did a hangout or did a video on YouTube the other day saying people on YouTube, a lot of them, they just don't understand that when the shit hits the fan, it's going to be hard. And I left a comment saying, you mean to say that the shit hit the fan, the apocalypse won't be a breeze through? Yeah, we're not just going to breeze right through. If there's nuclear bombs going off and major cities are destroyed and the internet goes down and there's an EMP or a meteor, lands in the ocean and there's some gigantic tidal wave, or the economy crashes, whatever happens, it might not be so easy day to day to stay alive and keep these decisions about weight get a little more tricky when you just like you raise up the amount of shit that goes wrong all at once.
Yeah. Okay, Scotty M in the YouTube external says, who's going to carry 10,000 rounds of 5.56 ammo, especially if you're carrying 10,000 rounds of ammo? And then he says M60 was called a pig because it was heavy, clumsy, and it was a pain in the butt, but he loved it. And then Squibload says, I loved mine too. Derp says, thanks for the info. Derplinkster. And Scotty says, in my day, M16 was the automatic weapon that you had machine team.
Yeah. So anyway, it definitely makes it, a lot of things could change, nobody wants to bug out, but stuff could happen. And I've mentioned in other chats before, I think in Oiley's chat last Thursday, she does Thursday chats. But, my family was minding their own business, trying to figure out how to get out of that. Maybe they should move to Belgium or someplace safe because Poland and Germany were having problems, and then Germany overran Poland. One day, just bombs started falling from the sky, and it really changed everything. And then the country was overrun, and the family had to bug out. And the family never went back to Poland. I think my mother went back like about 5 years ago, but my family bugged out in 1939, and they never went back. And it was a hellacious, the worst bug out story, which I'm not going to retell. But, so a lot of things can go wrong, and there is a certain amount of normalcy bias, and people just can't conceive of stuff going wrong, to the point where they'd have to bug out, or, there wouldn't be food in the store, or, you can't get pizza delivered, or some of those things that we, so, and depending how much stuff goes wrong, that can affect, how much the weight of your ammo that you want to carry around. Because when you're in the military, you've got a whole team backing you up. If you're a civilian, you're on your own for the most part. I do recall one of my favorite movies, Merrill's Marauders. They when they trekked through China and stuff, fighting the Japanese army, and they had an army mule that was carrying all their ammo and stuff. And when the mule died, finally going up. It had so much stuff on it. The mule, they were going up a hill to their last target destination, and the mule just died going uphill. It couldn't carry all that stuff. The guy was heartbroken. But if I could just throw all my ammo in the Blazer and just, there's plenty of gasoline. But who knows if it's going to be like that? The roads could be blocked, and you have to. So it just depends how much stuff goes wrong all at once. Whether I'd want my 5.56 rifle or my AK. I made the ballistics of the 7.62 round in flight versus the 5.56, you know, are different. If I had my choice, I would have liked the Lapua rifle and 338 Lapua, but you know that would have been a gigantic financial cost. So I didn't get that. I just got my CZ and 7.62x39 because it shared the ammunition with my AK. And the CZ has a lot
But
tighter
in a bug out,
tolerances.
you'll never get that. You'll never get that Lapua ammo in a bug out situation.
Yeah, I'd have to be a
Even though it
reloader.
is an excellent round.
Yeah, the ballistics are awesome on that. You know, the flight ballistics characteristics, and you know, it was designed by the Marines for, you know, for sniper specialists. So, does anybody else have any other comments on that particular our ammo topic there? Our shit hits the fan ammo topic. We've got our mind on our ammo and our ammo on our minds. I'm trying to go with the rap thing from last week, but I'm just not Snoop Dogg. So
I think that if you want to carry more ammo, if you have a set amount of weight and you want to carry more ammo, go with the 5.56. If you know or you think you're going to be in more long range shooting situations, go with the 5.56. If you want a heavier round that's going to hit and is effective at close range, and the weight's not that big of an issue, or you don't need to carry a lot of ammo because you know how to do proper shot placement, then maybe the 7.62x39 is a good round for you. I mean, it's going to bring down probably, well, I shouldn't say probably, it will bring down heavier game. You may have to be a little bit closer in to shoot them, but it's going to bring down heavier game. It's going to stop some, bigger threats than the 5.56. It's just, I guess it's your situation. And then you also have to look at resupply. I would say the 5.56 223 will always be easier to resupply, but that doesn't mean the 7.62x39 won't be unavailable. There's so many AK owners and SKS owners, and CZ bolt action owners that it's around.
yeah, all our Tula ammo is imported though, so if there's shipping problems, if there's a worldwide global shipping crisis, it could dry up over time.
Winchester.
What about Winchester?
They make 7.62x39.
They do. Okay,
So
actually, I've never seen it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Let's see what else I wanted to talk about really quick. Canadian Prepper has a giveaway on his channel right now on his last video and which ties into Oily Prepper's topic for this Thursday on our chat hangout is food preps, and I know Canadian Prepper is doing a giveaway of one number 10 can. All you have to do is leave a comment on his last video of some new flavor of Mountain House. I think it's called spicy pepper steak. It looks like pepper steak with rice. It looked pretty good, but he said it was great. Definitely food preps are another kind of prep that you need to work on, it's just so anyway, that's if you want to leave a comment on his chat, you might win something next week, but probably won't. He's got a huge channel. A lot of people watch that guy, but
somebody's got to win. Might as well try.
Yeah, somebody's got to win. Hopefully, it's somebody on gun channels. But all right. So what I wanted to give Oily Prepper a chance to talk about some of her food preps and stuff that we're talking off air, and I know you're going to talk about a lot of it on your Thursday chat. So don't tell us everything, but can you give us a sneak preview?
Okay. Well, like Thursday, we're going to talk about, different layers of food preps. We're going to talk about, things that we keep on hand all the time just to make our normal meals every evening or every day. And then go on from there to the next layer, which is things that will have a longer shelf life. And then we'll look into stuff that will have the longest shelf life. And different ways you can incorporate that into your preps. We're going to talk about average calories for each member of the family, from very young school-age children to adults, depending on their activity level. So yeah, I mean, I think it's important that everybody kind of cover all those bases, and to also remember, you know, to put back for your pets as well. And with all of the people on there, including you, then we'll just kind of all discuss what we have in our food preps. I have all those layers. We could probably live at least 3 months off of what we have just in my cabinet for my daily stuff. My freezer's full. We won a side of beef.
Oh, you want a side of beef?
And
you know, when I was a kid.
yes, we won a. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my dad had an extra refrigerator just for beef, and like he bought a whole like beef one time and stuck it in there, frozen and cut into different cuts and stuff. And that's a lot. A whole side of beef is a heck of a lot of meat. And if you have a refrigerator that, you know, I don't know what you'll do if the power goes out, though. You know, unless it's propane refrigerator, could be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, we would either have to start canning it immediately or something to that effect. I have a pressure canner that can go straight on. We have a propane.
Yeah, you
stove.
can you freeze dry it? If you cook it, can you freeze dry it after, like Mountain House does? And
Well, you have to have a freeze dryer to do that. Yeah. You can dehydrate, I believe, but probably my method of choice would be just to can it or to dry it out, like cut up like the roasts and things like that, and just create jerky with that. You can also use salt to preserve it. So salt is a good thing to have as a prep. But yeah, canning meat is great. You can dry pack it, which means like you take your ground hamburger meat, shove it into your jars, and of course follow proper sterilization procedures and making sure you get all the bubbles out from in between on the hamburger meat, and fill it up until you have, I believe it's like an inch of headspace. Put your lids on there, pressure can it for the amount of time that it recommends at what pressure for your area. And it cooks in its own juices, and it tastes incredible. So that would be one of the quickest ways. You can do the same with chicken. You can either chop up your chicken breasts or whatever it is, even deer meat. Deer meat tastes really great canned. It tastes like a roast, a lot like a roast, with a little bit of a gamey taste, but not.
I didn't know there was headspace involved in canning, but now that has something in common with ammo reloading. Yeah, and I think you know, headspace of your round and all put in the chamber, but I didn't know what is headspace in canning exactly.
You just leave a certain amount, usually like on a jar. You see where the sides bow in at the top.
Oops, we just lost her. Okay, you'll have to tune in if you want to learn more about canning food, because I'll just ask you the same questions on Thursday. That's the internet for you. So Google's been acting up. They've been demonetizing anything controversial, like apparently oiling my wood handle on my machete is too controversial, because I looked at my channel in the restricted mode. So just to see what videos aren't available to people without, you know, that just crews that don't have their own channel and have to just see everything in restricted mode. So get your own YouTube channel and make sure you have it off. Either, you know, restricted mode off. It's like at the bottom of your YouTube page, you know, and you have an option to save it if you have your own channel up. You know, your mode, your viewing mode. It's either restricted or non-restricted. So yeah, they don't share or recommend any videos with, like, boy, they've been, you know, definitely trying to take off anything remotely, you know, that could possibly be controversial, like demonetizing a whole lot of gun channels. So who knows what the future will hold for the internet, things. Change is permanent. Is the one constant of the universe. Things always change. But the AK almost seems like an eternal rifle in it because it's so prolific and an eternal. Therefore, 7.62x39. It's almost like an eternal ammunition. Where's my little prepper? Where's my little patch? I'm going to turn this thing on. 7.62. Okay, welcome back, Oily. It's one of the 7.62 patches I got off your websites. Oh man! So this chat is powered by Jack Daniels. Not sponsored, unfortunately. We had to buy our own bottle. Right. So, thank you, Dr. Jack. Let's take a look at the external, see if there's anybody out there. Oily came and left again. Must be some internet problems.
She's refreshing. It froze up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just saw her comment there in the external chat there. See if I can get to gun channels really quick and see if there's any typing on there. Oh man.
Gun channels is lagging. I don't know what's going on. It's running really slow.
Oh, then that might be what's happening. Yeah, there is a, sometimes gun channels does slow up. It's their new software that he rents or pays for to run gun channels. So yeah, if gun channels start slowing down, mine seems to be working right now, but let's see. So have we reached a conclusion? What is your guys' opinion for shit hits the fan? 7.62 or 5.56? Just go around the panel. Anybody?
I'll put in one vote for 30-06.
30-06. Okay, none of the above 30-06. I'll go with 7.62 just because my long range bolt action is 7.62, and the AK is. But I'm not opposed to 5.56 either. It's just I would like to check all of the above, but I know I can't carry like 3 rifles and a shotgun all by myself. So.
Well, now if you wanted to have a rifle and a handgun, and they both use the same ammo, you could go lever action, right?
Well, I could do cowboy.
57 or 44 Magnum.
Well, but I'm happy. I'm not going to pick a rifle, just because it has the same thing as the caliber as a handgun. Now, I think the handgun, basically, if I have to use my handgun, something has gone wrong. I prefer to use long guns. My favorite short gun is a long gun, and I'm just better, more accurate, extremely.
Well,
more
I probably
accurate.
don't want the enemy to get that close, huh?
Yeah.
Sorry,
I have an
I don't know where we cut off.
AR-15 in a.
Okay.
What was that, Dusty?
I have an AR-15 and a 9mm too. So.
Yeah. Oily, what were you going to say there?
Oh, I was just saying I don't know where it cut me off. I don't know what happened. My internet cut out or something.
Okay, well, we'll talk about headspace for canning in your chat on Thursday on the Oily Prepper channel on YouTube. At what
Oily Humble Home.
Oily's Humble Home is what it is?
Yes, AKA the Oily Prepper.
AKA the Oily Prepper.
Yeah.
And what time is it? You're on Thursdays?
8 Central.
8 Central.
9 Eastern, and you can figure it out from there.
Okay, so Dusty, you're going with 5.56. I'll go with 7.62. Squib's going with 30-06. And Oily, do you care? Just whatever your SKS shoots, right? Is that,
Yeah, the 7.62 is what my SKS shoots, so I'll go with that.
all right. So that's 2 for 7.62, but it's a different 7.62 than the one I have. So we'll just call this one a draw. And because if somebody won an argument on gun channels, then, you know, that would be bad. It just, the argument has to keep going, you know.
There you go.
So they could argue about it on the lobby, you know, late at night. And there was a really interesting guy on from Jamaica on, I think, Edge's chat. I looked at his video that he posted, Marvin. Just a very positive, upbeat. I've never met somebody that's so positive and upbeat. As I saw it on his interview from Jamaica, he runs a company there called Local Spice. And I don't know, I'm more of a pessimistic, the shit is going to go, something will go wrong kind of a person. I ran my company. I ran a business too, but I was never that positive all the time. So that must take it must be a Jamaican thing that I don't understand. But anyway, let's see what else we got going on in the prepper world. We got the economy. There might be a government shutdown. Oh, the Peruta case, all you gun guys. I had posted a link. The Peruta case is up for appeal has been filed. If you go to the SCOTUS blog, or you just go on any internet search engine and type SCOTUS blog Peruta, you can read all the filings and the amicus briefs that have been filed, and that is the basically case. They're appealing for the right to have anybody in America be able to either conceal carry if there's not legal open carry. Americans should be allowed to conceal carry, and so that right was kind of conferred in the 9th, and then they had an en banc panel of 11 judges that overturned it, and the appeal has been filed, and so possibly Friday. So far, all that's happened is it's been redistributed to conferences, and now that there's a 5-4 conservative majority with originalist leanings, Judge Gorsuch is on the court. We might get a favorable decision, and I know there's the Hearing Protection Act is moving forward, and the National Reciprocity Act is also moving forward. I got some mail today from Gun Owners of America on that. I hope that will be covered on Every Second Matters, which is one of the gun channels chats on Second Amendment issues. And again, every Friday there's a conference by all the justices on all the appeals. So that's up there, and you can just see the progress on the SCOTUS blog. So maybe Friday they'll agree to hear the case or not. So far, all that's happened is they've redistributed the filings for 3 weeks in a row, and nothing has happened on it yet. They haven't denied it or accepted to hear the case. But it would be a big, important case if they hear that.
Yeah.
And in Hawaii, that the case that is related to that is the Baker case, Baker versus the City of Honolulu police chief, and in San Diego it was Gore. Anyway, all the filings are on the SCOTUS blog, and I did post that link on Gun Channels, but you could just go on any internet search engine and type SCOTUS blog Peruta, Peruta, and get a link to all the filings. So just read it at your leisure. Basically, the state's argument says that there aren't enough conflicting appellate court's decisions yet to warrant the Supreme Court hearing. Anyway, that's about all I've got.
Well, I want to apologize to the external out there on the gun channels. I had to shut that part down because for some reason with 2 windows open on my laptop, it was freezing up. So I'm very sorry. So if somebody's directing anything at me, I apologize.
Okay. Anybody got anything else they need to bring up before we close this one out?
Do you want to do a riddle or no?
Oh yeah, right. Dusty's got a riddle, and so I'm going to give away a sticker. Let me give away the sticker. Here, let me show the sticker. I'm going to mail out if you can guess this riddle. Here it is. Kona guns and ammo.
Nice.
If I have some extra gun channels attached, so I might throw one in. All right, hit us up with a riddle.
Is Dusty doing it or me?
I think you are.
Okay. All right. Okay. With pointed fangs, I sit and wait. With piercing force, I crunch out fate. Grabbing victims, proclaiming might. Physically joining with a single bite. What am I? I'll say it one more time. With pointed fangs, I sit and wait. With piercing force, I crunch out fate. Grabbing victims, proclaiming might. Physically joining with a single bite. What am I? Webb, you'll have to keep an eye on the gun channel side of it.
All right, I don't think anything on the YouTube side. Let me look at gun channels. Stapler.
Very good.
It was a stapler?
Yep, that is correct.
Okay, Rupan.
Congrats, Rupan.
PM me your address and I'll mail you one of those Kona guns. If you want the Kona guns sticker, I'll mail you one. And I might dig up a gun channels patch. No promises. I'm not sure what I have left. I have a few things that I bought that I have for giveaways that I have around somewhere. But I'll definitely mail you the Kona guns sticker if you want one. Just PM me your address on either YouTube or gun channels. And all right, so anybody else got anything important to add before we wrap this up?
I'm good.
I'm good.
You're good. Squib's good. Dusty,
I'm good too.
you're good too. All right. So this is HVS signing off from another lock and load. Wait a minute, I forgot to pop the Glock. All right, so everybody keep your groups tight, fight the good fight, and keep your edges bright. Oh, wow, that all rhymes. All right, see y'all next week for another edition of Lock and Load on Gun Channels. Where is the termination button? You are terminated.